Happy New Day, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and watching. I want to start by saying thank you to everyone who has been supporting my channel and the videos and commenting, leaving their feedback and their stories and reaching out to me. It's been very helpful, not just to me, but to other people as well. So thank you all for that. In this video, I am going to talk about a few things, but I'm going to share what my experience has been since the ending of the transit that I spoke of. For those that are familiar with the video that I did about the transit that started October 30th and ended on December 24th, that's what I'm speaking of. So if you haven't watched that video, it might help to go watch that video. And some of the information in this video is also going to be tied to the last two videos I did about psychic and spiritual attacks from friends, family members, strangers, and also the way in which you can identify how you are psychically and spiritually attacking others. We are now on, what day is this? December 27th. So it's been about 3 days since the transit ended, and what was interesting for me is that I felt my body, I don't want to say shutting down, but I felt the energy going away. And when I did the video talking about the transit right before it started, I didn't know what to expect. You know, I just knew the energies that would be brought to the planet from the transit, but I've been very surprised and just really learning a lot when it comes to hearing the stories that people have based on what took place during, you know, this 2 months of this particular transit. And I've experienced things in my personal reality and heard so many stories, and this is all a learning process for all of us, for those who are aware and tuned in or tuning in. For those that didn't know anything about the transit, if you watched the video that I did speaking on what the transit brought as far as the type of energies and behaviors that you might see in people, you may be able to recognize things that have happened in these last 2 months for you that are a direct reflection of what those energies brought and how they affected all of us as human beings. And one of the things that I'll speak on, since it's fresh in my mind, is the shootings, the killings that took place here in Chicago. And you know, Chicago is known for its violence and things like that, but the information that I read about the killings that took place just over this Christmas weekend, the terms that they use and the information that they put out about the individuals who were the killers, and then the individuals who got killed, they spoke on how it was a lot of gang related shootings. Like, a lot of the people that were killed over the weekend, it was like a rival gang member knew where this other gang member would be at, you know, for the holidays. And you know, there was a lot of plotting that took place to kill off, you know, a rival gang member while they were in that family atmosphere, in that holiday energy. And yes, these situations are unfortunate, but we have to learn from these situations and really look at how things are are like orchestrated from a level beyond what we may be able to perceive on the surface. And in the video I did on the transits, I specifically talked about how the two activations that we had for these last 2 months were tribal activations. They dealt specifically with the family, the tribe, the community, anybody that's in your close-knit network. So there was a lot of extra energy these last 2 months focused on tribes, focused on family. So I found it really interesting that the way in which these stories were presented, about these killings, it was all tribe related. And because this Christmas weekend was the ending of this transit, the way my awareness and my understanding deciphers everything is that we were ending this tribal energy that had been pretty much, saturating the planet for 2 months. We're ending this tribal energy, and these tribal people that were already in that energy and then had this extra energy coming to an end. It's almost like I can see how that infused these situations for one rival gang member to target another and like kill them off. As weird as it may seem, but let me fix my lighting. So this is how the universe is always expressing itself. What are the odds that as soon as I say the words kill them off, my lighting just goes out? Yeah, so getting back to what I was saying, yeah, so that's the way I perceive the situation. This tribal energy came to a close, and these acts of violence and the killings that took place over the weekend represent just that. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. The next thing that I wanted to speak on is information that can help you to get prepared for New Year's, which is just a few days away. So in taking the energy from this transit that has just ended, and then looking at the energies that we are stepping into for the new year, according to the Gregorian calendar, it will help to give you an understanding of what to expect and how to be in a level of awareness so that you don't get caught up in certain things. And most of you all know what it's like when the new year comes around. There is a lot of activity. There's a lot of celebrating, a lot of crowds of people gathering, just a lot of different things taking place. And even though the extra energy from these transits have kind of faded out, there's always new energies on the planet every single day. There's always a new formula for the day. So there's still going to be that programmed holiday energy that is still carrying. And I wanted to tie this into the psychic and spiritual attacks videos that I did, along with the information and stories that I've been getting from people and seeing in my own experience. So body snatching, demonic possession, that whole realm of things is really important to understand, especially at this time, but for the future as well, because it can take place at any time. But when we're dealing with holiday energy and these heavy programs that deal with the collective consciousness, even if you think that you're disconnected from it or detached from it, you're still getting residue from the program. And it's good to be aware of how you're being affected and what is actually going on. So I received a story from someone who spoke about their sister. This was a woman who was speaking about her sister. And her sister went out. They had a really great time. Like, they just spent a day together. They ate, they had fun, they really enjoyed themselves. And it's something that was, that they feel is like a memorable experience. And one of the sisters, when she went back home, either the following day or 2 days later, her neighbors got into an altercation outside the house. And when she saw her neighbors in this altercation and, getting ready to fight, and, that energy was building up, she ran outside to put an end to it, to try to get them to stop fighting. And just to pause right there, I want to explain what is taking place when you have two people or more that target each other from a lower vibrational way of thinking or feeling, and then want to engage in a fight or an argument. First of all, when you see a situation like that with two or more people that are getting ready to fight or arguing, it's not just the people. It's not just the two human beings. There are other entities that are operating in that situation. So it's up to you to pay attention and to have discernment as to what is actually going on, and if it's something that you need to involve yourself in. Because when you have two energy fields, that's what we are as human beings. When you have two energy fields along with unseen entities that are operating through that vessel, you have these energy fields that are focused on each other and creating a portal. They're building energy to create a portal. And whether you want to call it a portal or a gateway or opening into something, the energy that's being exchanged is overall a low vibrational energy. So you have these two human energy fields with these other entities that are all working in unison to create a portal for possession, entity attachment, things like that. So when two people are getting ready to fight, what usually happens? People gather around. They record with their phones. Some people try to get in and stop it. You can see what happens. It draws in energy. Just like if there's someone who is painting doing face painting or playing beautiful music. You can see how different levels of vibration coming from one person or two people, how it can attract different crowds based on whatever the energy is. So if you have two people fighting, it's going to attract people that somehow have, something within them that wants to be a part of that energy field, of that lower vibrational energy. So even if they're, just running in to save it, to save the situation, either way, there's something in them that is drawn to interfere or to jump into that energy field. So with this sister, she's seeing her neighbors, people that she knows and people that, she has a good relationship with. And she's seeing them in a different form that she sees as, oh my God, they're going to destroy each other. I need to stop this. So while they're building this portal, she's not stopping to think or discern the situation to see if, wait a minute, they might be possessed. They might, have some other stuff going on. She's not thinking about any of that. So she just sees two people that she cares about to get into a serious situation, and she wants to stop it. So she goes into the situation, and she ended up getting more than what she bargained for, because the two people that were going back and forth, even though they were her neighbors, they were not her neighbors at that particular time. They were vessels that were being used by these unseen entities that wanted to, they wanted to feed off of that fighting energy. So she jumps into it and she gets attacked, both physically and energetically, because the two people that are her neighbors, they're not recognizing her. They're not in the same level of consciousness as they are when, they're just having a friendly neighborly conversation. They're taken over in that moment. So you all can kind of put the pieces together and see that, this sister was energetically, psychically, physically attacked, and she went back into her house with a lower level energy on her. So now she's in her house with her children and her husband with this lower level energy. And she has experienced a level of trauma now from that situation that she wasn't equipped to really be a part of. So this is just an example of things that happen all the time. So now the other sister who is working with me is expressing how ever since that situation, she has noticed that her and her sister's relationship is now different. What she remembers from that day of happiness and, hanging out and having fun, that energy is no longer there. It's, her sister is clearly different now. So she is trying to have an understanding of what happened, if the sister can be assisted, and just overall, like, what she should do, because she's seeing how everything else in her life has been affected. The sister who jumped into this fight is now having issues like with her own relationship. She's being a little bit more she's being meaner to her children. There's just this domino effect that has taken place, since she involved herself and put her vessel into this portal of this angry fighting energy. So this is just an example of what happens. So my backup lighting started to fade out, but I caught it before it went all the way out. So yeah, I'm just gonna take this as, confirmations as to what I'm speaking of. So yeah, so that is one situation that has taken place, and another example that I want to give is something that is very, very common, something that a lot of you all, I'm sure, can relate to, and this is dealing with demonic possession or being body snatched by sex demons, addiction demons, and fighting demons. And those three types of entities really like to stick together. They like to work together. And I know people who deal with these type of entities. I'm sure you all know people that deal with these type of entities, but I just wanted to put into perspective how they operate, and to give you just a different viewpoint on what it's like to be on the other end of a situation like that. So from a negative entity's point of view or a demon's point of view, I would say look at them as a mischievous child who has become invisible. Now, of course, you have entities that are more than just mischievous. Like, you just have entities that are really out to kill. They're out to just completely destroy. But take a mischievous child and turn them invisible. They no longer have a body. They're just energies that can just target what they want, jump into the body that can get it for them, and work them to get their needs met. And you can think about a child that just likes sugar and candy and cookies and things like that. So let's just take this little mischievous child that becomes invisible, knows how to jump into the right adult, and it wants cookies, it wants candies and sugar, it wants that. And then you have an adult that is, always eating cakes and honey buns and, pies and everything that's frosted, and dumping sugar and whatever, like you can kind of get an idea of what is taking place. Now, demons, entities, they're here. They're here with human beings, and their level of consciousness is a lower level consciousness. So in order for them to have fun, in order for them to, do what they do best, which is cause chaos and confusion, is certain things that they have certain needs that need to be met. So you're going to have sugar demons, you're going to have addiction demons, you're going to have sex demons, you're going to have thief demons, and anything that is of a lower level of consciousness, a lower vibrational way of anything that is of a lower level of consciousness is going to have a entity attached to its way of operating. So when you're dealing with sex demons, addiction demons, and fighting demons, they like to work together, especially in certain settings. And I'm going to talk about the club settings. That is something that is frequent because there are a lot of people who are consistent in going into the atmospheres of clubs, lounges, bars, those places that deal specifically with attracting people who are sexual, people who are addicted to alcohol, and people who, who are aggressive and like to fight. And of course, not everyone is dealing with that, but it's a hub. Like, those are places that are hubs to attract that type of energy. So let's take a common story that people hear. You have someone that they have a stressful life. They're used to drinking alcohol, even when they come home from work, and they can't wait for the weekend to come so they can go out and party and have fun. And more than likely they have associates and friends that do the same thing. So the plan is, on Friday or Saturday, we're going to go out to the club. We're going to we're going to have drinks, and we're going to have fun. Okay? So that's what happens. And of course, the whole time, this person that, has that routine, of course, they have the entities on them. So the entities are excited about Friday and Saturday. So the human is excited about Friday and Saturday, because the entities know that when the physical body goes into this atmosphere, into this environment, there's going to be other demons. It's going to be other entities that that the other demons can mingle with. So it's like you got demons in the club, mingling and interacting, and then you have the humans in the club mingling and interacting. So just allow yourself to vision that, and to see that it's not just the humans, but it's these dark entities as well that have their human host that they're with. So you have a person that that has these three demons: the sex demon, the addiction demon, the fighting demon that's on them. The demons that are with this human already know the setup. They already know how to work together in unison to make sure that everyone's needs are met. So the first thing they do, they walk into the club, they go straight to the bar. So the addiction demon, the alcoholic demon, is getting its needs met immediately. It kicks it off. So get the drinks, start drinking. Next, you have the sex demon and the fighting demon. And they're like, okay, who's going to go first? And it could be, well, the sex demon says, well, I'm going to go first. So boom, the person is drinking, fulfilling, the needs of that particular demon. And then there's another person who has their own sex alcoholic demons on them. They see them across the room, they start talking. Next thing you know, they're in the bathroom having sex. We hear about this all the time. So now that energy is fulfilled. That demon is now fulfilled and got what they needed. So now what you have left, okay, the fighting demon is like, hey, well, it's my turn now. So the human may, somebody may bump into them and make them spill their drink. So once that happens, the human is mad and, taking it personally, because, they're not sober. So it's like, oh, okay, so you just knocked my drink out my hand. I'm cussing at you now. I'm mad and I'm ready to fight. So boom, a fight might break out right there in the club. The, security comes, breaks it up, may throw them out the club, whatever, or it could be the other way around. The fighting demon goes first. Alcohol is in the system. They already know alcohol comes first. The alcoholic demon says, I'm going first because I laid a foundation to get everything else going. So the alcoholic demon goes first. Then the fighting demon may come next. And the person may get kicked out for fighting, but then that sex demon may, have targeted, another person that has that same energy, and that person may leave the club with the person that got kicked out, and may try to comfort or console him and say, hey, why don't you just come back to my place and, let's just relax, forget this club, let's just, and then, that person, even though they got kicked out the club for fighting, they still have a sex demon on them that needs to be fulfilled. That energy needs to be taken care of. So they go home with the person, and, the sexual energy takes place there. So just like that, you know, a person can be, more possessed than what they are. They could take on more from other people, because the other person that, let's say, they have sex with, that person may have, um a, a killer spirit on them or something like that. There could be a, a whole nother set of demons with that person. So now here's a person who may have only been dealing with, sex addictions and fighting, but now they're taking on a whole new set of demons from this person that they just mingled with and had sex with. And it's like, when you just put it into perspective, you can see how it's really hard to come across anyone who is just clear of any type of anything on them, because we're mingling all of the time. You could just get on a bus to go to work and sit next to somebody who, has something on them, and just from sitting next to them and your shoulders touching, you could get that. You could get taken over. And then you go to work and you're off. You can't think straight. It's so many different things that can happen. And at this particular time, now we're going into New Year's. Think about the crowds of people. Think about how people are going to gather to drink, to celebrate. All of these different scenarios that are going to take place, and how you don't know. You may have plans for the new year with somebody or with a bunch of people, and you may not know what happened to them Christmas. You may not know what happened to them, over the weekend, or what scenarios they were in even the day before, because any little situation, if people aren't aware, any little situation can cling on to them and like stay with them for long periods of time or the rest of their life. Just like the sister I was speaking of, like, you don't know what like how that's going to affect her for the rest of her life. You don't know how that's going to affect her children and their upbringing. You don't know how that's going to affect her husband and what he is doing, based on his wife now all of a sudden acting strangely, and acting in ways that he can't comprehend. So it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to think about. And I'm not trying to overwhelm anyone, but you just, if you're going to participate in certain energies and be around people, you have to understand that you really don't know who you're dealing with. And this isn't about making anyone fearful, but it's really just about awareness. Like, you got to be aware when you're out here, because this is the time. Like, this is the time for things to really pull you down if they can get a hold of you, because the program within itself, like the energy is about, even though the theme is happy holidays and happy New Year's and Merry Christmas and all of that, that's not what's happening behind closed doors for real. Like, a lot of people are experiencing, family fighting and, altercations. And, I've even heard of some situations during this holiday season that, yeah, like, it's not all merry and happy. So be aware, have discernment, pay attention, and go into situations with, with your shields up. Because if you know that you're going to go into a scenario with people that are going to be on a different level of consciousness and a different way of operating than you don't want to just step in there wide open. You want to go in there knowing, okay, I know what I'm walking into. Because from a demon's point of view, let's say you go to a family member's house, or you go to a club with someone and you don't usually go to the club, or you go to your family member's house and you don't usually go there, but you know that, okay, there's going to be alcohol, there may be some arguing, you know that there is a high chance that those type of energies will be there, and you choose to go. It's important to know how to center yourself and be aware, have that awareness at the forefront, because when you walk in and you're vibrating on a higher level, and everyone else is, operating in a more lower level energy, when you walk in, you're like the elephant in the room automatically. So the entities that are within that atmosphere, whether it be the club or your family's house or whatever, when they see you and you have your energetic shield up, you're saying, look, I know that I'm here. I know that I'm standing out, and that, my energy really doesn't, mix well with everyone. You can't get to me. Like, your energy will say that. So you may find, certain people have an attitude with you just because they know that they can't get to you. But if you were to walk in, but you didn't have any type of shield up, and you were just open to all of the people there, whether it's family members or strangers, then you're going to get a lot of people that are going to try to talk to you, people that are going to try to be nice to you because they want to just touch you, or they want to stay in contact with you because you have a better energy. And I think in, like, the last video I did, I think I mentioned something about being a juicier steak, and that's basically what it is. It's like you come in and you have a more potent energy. You're like the expensive bottle of champagne or wine compared to the kind that you get from the gas station. It's like that's how these entities are seeing you. And they're seeing you, of course, through the human being that they're attached to, but you got to understand, like, what you're dealing with, so that you can know that, okay, if certain people try to hug me or just, touch me, or, want to pull me to the side to try to just get that one-on-one connection, like, you can know exactly what's going on. And your awareness is already talking to these entities, letting them know, like, hey, I'm here, I'm in a good mood, but guess what? I see you, I see you, I see you, I see all of you, and you all can't get to me. I'm just here to show my face, have a good time, but not at the expense of my vibration, not at the expense of my frequency and my level of consciousness. So you'll know if you're in a club and you usually don't do that, and somebody offers you a drink, you automatically, that, okay, you're trying to offer me a drink because you're trying to get me to come down a notch so that you can, find a crack to jump in. And if you deny that drink, you may notice that a person gets mad at you. They may call you a name or cuss at you, because they tried you, they tried to get in, and they tried to get in your energy field, and you didn't let them. So, it's a lot of different things that they're right in our face. Like, I know I'm not saying anything that is too hard to understand, because everyone has seen it, experienced it, or heard about it from somebody else. So just be aware, have discernment, pay attention to how you feel. I'm always talking about the body, but pay attention to how your body feels, because just like right now, like I know that this is a time for me to detox. This is a time for me to release certain energies. And if you're capable of going to a spa, going to a place to where you can release, this will be a good time to do it. Like, get stuff out of you, and if you plan on being a part of New Year's festivities, I would suggest like waiting until you're done with the holiday season, and then at the top of the new year, just do something that allows you to release and let go, because even with not being a participant of the holiday energies, and I think, I don't know what I said earlier in this video about that, but yeah, you're still getting that residue. You're still getting pulled into it, because you could stay in your room the whole holiday season, but like if you're using your phone or getting on a computer, you're going to see ads that say, okay, holiday sales and Merry Christmas here. Like, you're still going to be forced to see this huge collective program that deals with these holidays, and you're still going to get pulled on when it comes to being a part of that program. So with me, like, it's been very blatant in the way that I feel. My energy, yeah, like coming out of this 2-month transit, and the way that I feel now, like I feel like I'm supposed to be sitting down. I feel like I'm not supposed to be like doing a whole bunch of running around and activities and things like that. And I'm going to honor that, because I think about the people that are just used to the program. They're just used to, oh, it's a holiday season, I got to do this, this, and this. And by the way, a lot of people procrastinated this Christmas when it came to getting gifts. The information that came to me about that was people procrastinated because their bodies were rejecting the mental programming of Christmas. There were so many people that were saying, I need to get gifts for my family and my friends, but it's like that's like a robotic statement that they're just used to doing, from the program of Christmas. But it's like their bodies wouldn't allow them to really be in the holiday spirit. And I thought that was very interesting, because I can't recall one year where I've heard about Christmas shopping procrastination on the level that I heard it this year. So when I just kept hearing people talk about it, I'm like, wow. So that's a clear indication of how, the mental programming can override the body, but the body is like is still putting up a fight, saying, we do not want to go Christmas shopping. We really don't care about Christmas. And it was just an energy of, okay, we're just playing out this script. We're playing out this program. Okay, all of the family needs to come over. We need to cook Christmas dinner, and okay, let's put the gifts under the tree, and okay, let's all unwrap the gifts. Like, there was just this blah energy that I kept hearing about when it came to this Christmas spirit and this whole holiday energy. So um that's interesting to me because it ties in with just everything that's going on. So listen to your body. If because this is a vulnerable time, if you're going against what your body is asking for, which for me, my body is clearly saying just relax, just focus on yourself. um it's really, it's like I can't really focus on anybody else. Like my body isn't allowing me to. And that's hard when you're in this holiday season, where you're mentally programmed to focus on other people, but it's like it's a split between those two things. So I know that if my body is telling me, and I have this awareness about it, if my body is saying, okay, you need to relax, and then on top of that, we're in the winter months, like we're in the season to where things are dead. Things are not really, the energy is not there. The leaves aren't on the trees. There's snow on the ground in certain areas. Like things are slower. So it's no way that your body is just going to have this summertime energy in the winter. So if your body is in a season, in a planetary season that deals with everything resting, and certain animals are hibernating right now, then you're going to feel that, on top of understanding, how the transits are operating. So when you take all of that, and then you take these programs of holidays and then try to force your energy to be a part of the holiday, it's like you get zapped. You get zapped even more, because your body is not asking for Merry Christmas. It's not asking for, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. It's not asking for that. The body just really wants to relax. And a lot of people, I'm sure, would feel much better, and have better experiences if, like, holidays just didn't exist, especially like at this time, from November, Halloween, the end of October through January. Like if those things didn't exist, people would conserve their energy better. People would be just operating completely differently. So just be aware. Be aware of your energy. Listen to your body. Don't feel forced to do things that seem like such a task for your body to get into. It's I just know if I'm feeling it, I know some of y'all are out there feeling it. A lot of y'all are out there feeling it. So just relax and pay attention. Look at what's going on your social media, because you can see it. You can feel the energy. You can see what people are talking about. You can use the people on your friends list, and the people that follow you. You can use that to see what's happening around the world. What are the energies going on around the world, so that you can start connecting the dots, if you're that type of person that even cares. But yeah, I think I covered what I wanted to cover. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you all can't tell, like, you can see that my energy is just kind of like, I'm here, I'm doing this video, but I'm sure you can tell that I'm really in a different state. But yeah, get your rest, relax. Take it easy on your bodies, yeah, don't get caught up in the hype, because this is a time to not get body snatched. Like don't get body snatched during this time, because it would be tougher. It would be tougher to get yourself back in alignment during these particular times. If you get attacked by, entities and demons and things like that, and just pay attention to your family members, your friends. Pay attention to their behavior, because just like with the sisters, anything can happen in a split second. Like, a person can can completely change within 5 seconds based on what they put what environment they put their body into. Like, you could be having a great time with a person one day, they go home, deal with a situation from someone else, get body snatched, attacked, and next thing you know, they're talking to you like a completely different person, and you're trying to figure out who is this? Weren't we just in a good space the other day? Like, what happened? So pay attention to that type of stuff, because we're all just vessels. And if your awareness is not on point, if you're not paying attention, if you're not having discernment and listening to your inner guidance, you can find yourself in some situations that, can affect you for a longer period of time. Okay? So, yeah, that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. I am taking a break right now. You might be able to just tell based on my energy. I'm relaxing. I'm taking a break from doing readings, but yeah, it's needed. It's needed. I don't need to be pushing myself right now. So I hope you all take heed to this, and don't push yourself too hard. And just allow the energy to take you while you're aware, while you're paying attention and listening to your body and feeling for any resistance. And hopefully you can honor that resistance so that you don't put yourself in bad situations. Okay? So thank you all for tuning in and watching. Free your mind to shine. Until next time.